Okay, so this video is just for Gem. It's to show you how to play Elder Scrolls Online, or not really how to play it, but what I like about it. So when you start off, you have your character creator. You have a bunch of different races that you can choose between. This is a Breton that I'm on, but I could be a high elf. It could be an Argonian, which is like a lizard friend, wood elf, Khajiit, which is a cat, some other human species, an orc, etc. Okay. So you choose your race, and you can read over here on the side what particular bonuses you get from that particular race. And you'll notice also it puts you into an alliance. Like if I choose a Nord in this column, it's automatically going to put me in Ebonheart Pact. Whereas over here, if I were to choose something in this column, like a high elf, wood elf, or Khajiit, it would automatically put me into Aldemari Dominion. And then we have a column over here for Daggerfall Covenant as well. Just to note that these alliances only apply to PvP. The guilds are cross-faction or cross-alliance, so you can group with and play with people from all different alliances. All your characters can be mixed alliances and in the same guild. You can be in up to 5 guilds in this game, by the way, which is really handy for a variety of different things that maybe I'll get into, and maybe I won't, because I'm trying to keep this brief so you can just see it. Okay, so I'm going to choose a Nord. I chose a female. Now I need to choose my class up above. I can click on class here. And if you click on each one of these, you'll see what they are for. Dragon Knight is pretty much just DPS. Sorcerer can heal DPS or tank. Nightblade, it has a lot of stealthy capabilities. Your Templar has some amazing heals, DPS. And your Warden can do any role. Really, even though I talked about some of the classes not specifically being for healing, for example, the beauty of this game is that you can do pretty much any of the 3 roles on any of the classes, because there's a ton of flexibility in the way that you make your builds. So I'll show you that when I show you one of my already made characters, but for now I just want to show you what the creator looks like. So I'll just choose the sorcerer, and then let's just get into our body types and things. So there's some sliders here. You can see I can be large, I can be thin, I can be more to the muscular side. If you want to see in no care, sometimes it's a little easier to see when you're in your skivvies. So I can make myself tall, tall or short. I can change my skin tone, etc. You can also do things with body markings like tattoos. You can customize, although I don't like that's a little too much for me. You can go into the nitty gritty here with like the torso and chest size, and everybody always goes to this end, right? I'll go to this end. Things even like the hand size and the foot size and things like that. Once you go into the face, you can really get specific about, first of all, you can change the general look of it. That's a more softer face versus a more heroic or a more angular face. You can change the voice, but your character doesn't really speak, which I guess would be something that I would consider a shortcoming of this game, because I like voice acting. There's a lot of great voice acting in this game. It's just not by your character. Change your hairstyle and color and all that kind of stuff. One of the things I like about this game is that you can age your characters, so we don't all have to be 20-year-old like models. You can go all the way up, like super duper old, or you can choose something in here that maybe a little bit more realistic for what you want to play, you being me, eye color, all that kind of stuff, all the normal stuff. But you can also then change your eye height and separation, your squint, eyebrows, things like that. A lot of real customizing things. You can see you can really get lost in this. Noses, shapes, and all kinds of things. So you can really make your character unique and stand out. I'm not actually going to create a character right now, because I just wanted to give you an idea of what that looks like. I'm going to go back into one of my characters. I have a bunch. I'll go into my main. This is Parvata. She's a sorcerer. She's level 50, which is the max level in this game. Once you get to max level, though, you're gaining champion points, which I guess is kind of like command rank, but actually gives you more skills and opens up a whole set, like a champion tree, which is all sorts of neat stuff, but I won't get into all that. My load screens are a little bit longer than yours would probably be because I'm reaching the North American server from Australia. So don't let this fool you into thinking that it's a super long load time. Okay, so here's my character. And this is my, he's not really a companion. They don't have companions in the same way in this game, but this is my Daedric pet who will attack for me. His name is Scott, and he is my clan fair, and I love him very much. All right. So let's look at my build, my skills and things like that. Okay. So where you'll have however many skill points you have available will show up here, and you'll be able to put them into a lot of different types of things. Because I'm a sorcerer, these are my 3 class skill kind of trees that are available to me, and I won't go into details here, but I've got all of that, and this is based on my class. However, the very next thing down is weapon, and you'll see that there's a bunch of different weapons that you can have, and you're not limited by what class you are as to what weapons you can carry. So if I want to be a sorcerer and carry knives, I can, or I can carry a stave, which is what you would more traditionally, a staff, what you would more traditionally think of as a magic user. But really, you're not limited or forced to carry a particular type of weapon. So you can train up. Here I've got my destruction staff, which is for my DPS, and my restoration staff, and I can switch between those 2 weapons with just a click here or a hotkey, which will allow me to use skills from these different weapons. You can also put training points into armor to give yourself bonuses. Something that I like about this game also is that in addition to active abilities in any of these things here, you also have passive abilities. Passive abilities add bonuses no matter what you're doing. Like they'll just always be giving you these abilities either to you or to your group. So it's nice to put those passive abilities in and beef yourself up without necessarily taking up room on your skills bar. Something that's different about other games like SWTOR is that you can't have like a cajillion skills going at once. You have to really pick and choose what you're going to put on your bar, because you start off with only 1 bar available to you with 5 skills plus an ultimate skill, which is sort of like a heroic skill. And then once you hit level 15, you're able to add a 2nd bar where you can put 5 more skills and an additional heroic skill there. So those are the only skills that you can use in combat at any given time. Now you can go in and you can change those around, like I can pull another skill down onto my, let's find one where I'm not using a skill. Like for example, I could take this lightning form skill, add it, and put it on my bar, and I can switch around, just not in combat, you can't switch them, but any other time you can switch them around depending on the situation that you're in. Uh-oh, we've got like in-game carolers. Hold on. Wow, let me just go to like, apparently we're near the bar. That's freaking hilarious. They have day-night cycles in this game, which I like. And so it's night right now, and like all the drunk people are out at the bars, apparently. Okay. Wow, I like really need to go out in the boondocks if I'm going to do a little talking video for you, aren't I? Oh, maybe I'll go to my house. Okay. I have a house here. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, so okay, well, actually for right now, I'm just going to stand still and stop moving. Go back into this. Okay, you can also add in there's other skill lines that are not class, not weapon, not armor, but world skills that you can put in. There's a lot of passives there. You'll have some guild skills. Guilds, in this case, refers to NPC guilds, not guilds with other players. You have some racial traits. I'm a Breton, and so I have some traits available to me that I have I put points into. And then you have your crafting. I do want to show you a little bit on crafting because I've never been into crafting in any game, but I love it in this game. So alchemy is the creation of potions and poisons that are consumables that players use. Blacksmithing will make you your weapons. Clothing makes you your armor. Enchanting makes you runes, which are like enhancements, or I can't remember what they're called in SWTOR, but where you add on, for heaven's sake, what are they called? Where you buy the slot and you go to the little table and you put in the extra thing. I can't think of what it's called, but anyway, it adds stats to your weapons and armor. Provisioning makes consumables like buffs. What we would have in SWTOR would be stims, but in this game it's food and drink. And it's a lot of fun to make those. And then woodworking makes you like the wooden parts of weapons, and I think like also furniture. I'm not trained up in that. Let me actually go to my house here. I need to just focus on what I'm doing here. Navigate my map. So I know I'm jumping all over the place, but I just want to kind of give you an overview. This is one of the homes that I own in game player housing. And this is my condo in Grimworth's Woe. And as soon as we get loaded in, I have some crafting tables inside my house so I can actually show you the crafting in action. It's just really fun to me because like the provisioning, you actually go to a fire and you can buy in ingredients to make food and drink. So this is my house, which I decorated. So here's a fire. I have a cooking fire. So I just will use this. And I have these recipes that I've learned as I've been progressing through the game. And I can make any of these things here. It tells me underneath, if you see like what ingredients I need. These are really simple. I only need one thing per. But if you get up into some of these more complicated things, you'll get, multiple ingredients that you need. And this is just showing me how many I have and how many I need for that recipe. These are special recipes from the holiday event that I learned. That's all food. Drinks here works the same way. And you can also make furnishings within each of the trades that you can do. So like a lot of this furniture was made, Grog made a lot of it. And then you can also buy it, but that's kind of cool. And these are some of my in-game pets and things like that. Enchanting, like I said, this is where you put things. Let's look at my gear. Like for example, if you look at this hat that I'm wearing, helmet, it tells you all of the stats for it. And partway down the page there, you'll see it says maximum magicka enchantment. That enchantment is something that I made that I added onto my hat that adds something to it. In this case, because I'm a magicka build, I focus on magicka. I have made magicka enchantment. Let me just show you making an enchantment here. So to use the table, I click on it, and then you put in a rune, a square one, a whatever this shape is, and a round one. So I could put in a square, and one of these, and a round. And then when you do that, it tells you what kind of rune you're making. You have to learn these as you go along. So when you're first doing it, it'll say unknown rune. And to me, that's so fun because you're like learning how to make the things. I don't know, I really enjoy the crafting. This is a dye table where you can dye your armor so you can customize your look. This here is an alchemy station, and this is my favorite crafting, I think. This is where you make potions, like I said, and you can use those like stims and adrenals. In SWTOR, and you add a reagent and solvents to make those. Okay, I'm going all over the place. Let's get back into looking at skills and things like that. So I showed you the skills. Actually, that's not where I want to be. I showed you skills, but sorry, I've been on vacation for 2 weeks and I haven't played. Let me think about what I need to get into. Show you. Oh, I know. My character screen. Okay, so I mentioned briefly when I was looking at the enchantments that I'm a magicka build. you can build yourself however you want. You can use guides, or you can use like whatever feels right to you. And that's what I love about this game. You can totally customize it. I've put most of my points into Magicka, but I've put some into health and just a few into stamina. And those are your 3 stats. And, you've got your character screen just like you would in any game, showing you what your resistance is and your critical chance and all that kind of stuff. So I guess the next thing I should show you is a little bit of actual gameplay and movement. So first of all, the movement in the camera. You said that was something that was of concern to you, like how a camera moves in game. So I can zoom in and out using my mouse wheel. That's what I'm doing here. Zooming in and out. And you walk with the W. You can strafe with the A and the D. When I hit the F, though, it doesn't make me walk backwards like it would in SWTOR, because your movement is actually based on which way your camera is facing. And this is the part that took me a little time to get used to. I don't know if you can see it on this video, but I have a sort of like a focus point or a reticle on my screen, and that shows me what I'm looking at. So for example, let me walk to an interactable object. I've walked up to I have a banker in my house. So if I take my reticle and I hover it over him, it gives me him as like an option to do something, to interact with. So then I can interact with them and do whatever. Okay. Or if I go over to this, I have this book that's interactable, and I can hover my reticle over that, and then that makes that interact. So your camera determines your focus, and the way that I move my focus is with my mouse. So for me to turn this way towards my Clanfear Scott, I am using my wrist to move my mouse to the right. And to look this way towards this cherry tree that I put in the middle of my living room, I am moving my mouse to the left. So depending on which way I'm pointed, that's going to determine which way I walk. So I'm walking this way, and then if I turn my camera back this way, then I'll be walking that way. I want to walk this way. I want to walk that way. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Let me go. There's a dungeon here. I'm just going to go in and do a tiny bit of combat so that you can see it. Let's see, what else do I really love about this game? So grouping is easy and pretty casual. It is based on Trinity mechanics, the same as WoW or SWTOR or anything like that. But really, it's a little bit more hybrid, and the game allows for a lot of flexibility, like I said before, and you don't have to be pure healer or pure DPS. And in fact, a lot of people, especially as they're leveling, aren't. Okay, so there's my map. I have this dungeon that I can go into over here. Oops, I'm not very good at directions, especially when I have an audience. I'm like under pressure. Okay, let's see here. So this is one of my mounts, just like SWTOR and all the other games. There's all these cool mounts and like vanity objects that that you can get. I'm using add-ons for my maps, and that's why I have a mini map in my upper right-hand corner. Mostly the native movement in this game uses the compass system, like how Mass Effect does. You'll see my compass on the top bar. You see it moving around as I spin. That helps you find your objectives. I haven't gotten super good at that yet because I cheat and added the add-on for the mini map. Another thing about this game that's awesome is that it supports add-ons, and you can do so much customization. And I think that's the number one thing that I love about this game is the high level of customization, making it really your own, that you can do. And that's not to say that the game is perfect. It isn't. Like I said, you don't really have cutscenes in the same way you do in SWTOR. And I do miss my character having a voice, so to speak. But the quests are very involved. The lore is very good in the game, and it's very developed. You know, these all came from the Elder Scrolls games that came before, and there's a ton of lore, and you'll find podcasts and videos and everything on all of that, and books even, and you can get really engrossed and immersed in it. Okay, so I've got my little clanfear here, and he's my Daedric companion, and he will kill stuff with me. I'm going to switch to my DPS bar. So notice my bar at the bottom of my screen, how it just switched. I can do basic attacks just by I'm clicking my left mouse button right now. All I'm doing right now is a basic attack. Okay. But now I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to use some of my skills on my bars just so you can see what they look like. I've got some AoE. And, you know, I'm not the world's best DPS or anything. Oh, I'm about to die. Not the world's best healer either. Let me just face roll for a second. See how quickly I was able to heal myself back up though? Even though I was just about dead. Not very good at the multitasking. Okay. Alright, so let me try to demonstrate that without almost dying and having to go into panic mode. So right now, let's take a peek at my bars. At the bottom of my screen underneath my Magicka health and stamina pools, you'll see that I have the bars showing some skills. I can't, I guess I can just hover over them and show you what they are. Like, I'm on my healing staff right now. So here's what some of the skills look like. And they're so, like I said, you pick and choose which skills you want as you get points. So this one is like an instant ground effect that heals group. This one will heal like a conal area in front of me. This one heals me and 2 allies. This one is a shield for myself. And then this one controls my little pet Scott. If I switch now to my DPS bar, I've got one that gives like a flame, like an instant, it says a ranged attack. I tend to play ranged, but you can do melee. They have tons of melee choices. This one is a single target. This one is an area of effect, and then I have that same shield here. And then my ultimate skill, which is like my heroic skill, and that one you build up points for it and use it periodically like a heroic skill. Gathering mats are all over any like place that you go in the world, like for your crafting. Like I just picked up some water reagent for solvent, for my alchemy, which is the potions and stuff. All right, let's see if I can do this without embarrassing myself. Let's do a little DPS here. The way that you regenerate your resource pools is by doing attacks, like long attacks, by holding down your mouse button. So in addition, I'm going to die again. Oh my gosh. I'm so embarrassed. It's hard for me to talk you through while I'm trying to work. But okay, so let's look at this. This shows you what killed you and gives you some ideas for how you can not suck so bad the next time. When you revive, you have the chance to revive right where you are, but that'll cost you one of these little gem things, which are free, but you gather them in the world. Or you can return to a way shrine, which is like a bind point. Okay, so I'll go ahead and come back here, and I'm going to try to just do this and not talk and not humiliate myself. Problem with being on vacation for 2 weeks is that I haven't played. For 2 weeks I'm a little rusty and embarrassed. Okay, let me summon my little clanfear friend. Come on, Scott. So I think I'll probably just heal and let him do the DPS. And you can block attacks, and that's part of my problem, is that I'm not doing that. Okay, so you'll notice that somebody else just ran up. I'm in a public dungeon right now, so that was just some other random person who's in here. Another good thing I like about this game is that we can both get credit for the kills, and we're not competing for loot. So there's no like loot ninjing or kill ninjing that happens here. Here's like some rather random, like just random loot in the world. You can pick up gear or all manner of things here. Okay, I think this is a boss in here, so let me help and heal and sense got in there. Just like any game, there's there's don't stand and stupid, and there's all the same kind of mechanics for survival and working together. I think that's probably enough to give you like a super basic overview. If you're interested in the game, let me know. I'll be happy to show you more interaction and like questing and how you pick up the crafting writs, which are like daily crafting things. And I can't show you PvP because I don't do it, but I can also show you a dungeon and stuff. So anyway, I think that's it. I hope that you like it because I would love if you came and played.